Hey guys, so I wanted to make another video. Come here, Sandy Band. Say hi, Sandy. Hi. I wanted to make another video. Um, so I was feeling very stressed out at work today. So I found out that I'm dealing with a lot of family issues right now with family members being sick and possibly not pushing through, but I'm not going to get very specific on that. And then I went on my break at work and wanted to kind of like try to forget about it, and I looked through my blocked messages because I couldn't remember if I had my mom blocked through my text messages anymore. And I had to call her, but she didn't answer, but I had to call her to inform my sister about things going on. And I had wanted to see if she had texted me, and I like missed it. And when I went into my blocked messages, I saw a message from May 17th, back when we got into our last, I won't even call it an argument because there was no communication. It was her ignoring me, and then sending me what little I had left of my stimulus check that she chose to put in her account because I couldn't get it any other way, and her blocking me because I threatened to report her if I didn't get the money. And she had sent me a text message that said to never contact her again, because I am I want to make sure I word it right. I am an ungrateful little baby, and spreading my stimulus check money out would have been a good idea for me, but pretty much that I couldn't do that. And I didn't read the rest of it. I was very pissed off to even see that she called me an ungrateful little baby because I threatened to call the Charlton PD on her because she wouldn't send me my money. She was only allowing me to get $100 a week, and at this time we were homeless, living in our car, and I had only agreed to that when she originally said she did it. Like, I kind of told her I didn't know how I was getting my stimulus check, and I asked her to look to see if there was a way for me to contact them to get it sent, to my prepaid card that had a routing number, or another way for me to get the payments. And she had messaged me back and said that she had just put her bank account on my stimulus check account page, or whatever it's called, and she would just get the money. And at the time we were in Empire, Alabama, and she had told me she didn't want the money getting stolen from me, so she was just gonna send me $100 a week to make sure that I didn't get it stolen. And at the time I didn't think it was a bad idea with being at the location we were at, but I told her, okay, well, if I need more than that, you're gonna have to give me more than that, like, since it's the money coming in for me. And I was planning on using that money to get a trailer or an RV or a year-long camping pass, something that made it feel like I didn't have to travel all the time. I had something stable, some type of living situation, which, most people, if they're homeless living out of their car and they got animals, like, that's what you would want to do. You want to get yourself on your feet. And she had agreed to it. Well, we had left Empire by the time my check came in, and she had lent me $300 before the stimulus checks came in, because I needed to pay my car insurance and I didn't have the money for it, and I needed my phone bill renewed and everything. So she had taken that money out of the stimulus check when it came through, which I expected her to, but she didn't tell me that she did it until the very end. She just said, you have $200 something left, because I took my money that I gave you back out, which, whatever, I let it go. But the whole month and a half that she spread out my money, it was the hardest thing in the world for me to ask for more of my money, because every time I said, well, I need this, I need like $50 so I can go get us some food, I need this so I can go get clothes, or whatever it was, like whatever I needed, the animals' food, water, which was it's important stuff, I need this. and you go through it pretty quickly. You know, even just being two people with two animals, water is such a necessity. You go through it very quickly. Food you go through quickly. You know, like gas you go through really quickly because there isn't a place for you to just sit and park. You know, the campgrounds were starting to close. You couldn't find free campgrounds anyway. She wasn't going to send me more money so I could get a camping pass. You know, it got really hard. And she kept telling me that I didn't know how to budget my money and I wasn't being responsible enough, and $100 a week should be fine and I shouldn't have a problem with that, not having bills. And it became very stressful for me because I, one, am very respectful of my mother because she's my mother, but I hold on to a lot of, you know, grievances and the things that upset me about her from my childhood that she denies ever happened. And just for me telling you what she called me in that text message because I demanded my money, which is one of the first times I've stood up to her in a very long time, shows you what type of person she is with just the name calling. So growing up, I dealt with a lot of that type of emotional abuse, and it was way worse than it is there. And she didn't even have the balls to call me and say anything to me about it. She just blocked me on everything. And, you know, a lot of people would say it's the best, you know, you don't need that type of person in your life. But it's really hard for me because when I see other people and they have close connections with their parents or their mothers specifically, I don't understand those relationships because I don't have that. Like, my mom doesn't like me. And that's a fair enough thing to say, is she just does not like me. And she never liked my friends. And if she did like my friends, she talked shit about me to my friends. And then I'd find out. You know, she would tell guys that I dated that she didn't understand why they picked me because I'm going to be a hard person to be with and they should go find somebody else. You know, like, I dealt with so much with her and I still cared. I found out right before this happened that she got diagnosed with vertigo and she was having a hard time waking up and she was having all these issues, and I cried. I cried my eyes out because I was so scared that I was going to lose my mother, that she was going to die, because I honestly didn't understand anything about vertigo. The symptoms she was telling me about scared me. You know, it didn't sound normal. She was telling me she was having dreams about her mother who passed away when I was 10 years old, and that made me feel like, you know, oh no, what is that a sign of? And I wanted to go home. I almost went back to her house to stay with her, left everything, just went, okay, screw it, I'll leave my husband and you can keep the animals and we'll figure something out. If you need my help, I'll be there. And I went to do that and she told me not to, that it would be too stressful, it would add added stress to her with me being there. And the only thing I kept thinking of is I didn't want my mom to die, and we had this resentment and things didn't get fixed. And then all of this happened and she just never wants me to contact her again. And, you know, I do get that at that point, you know, you have to say enough is enough. Like, what is worth pushing for if she's not willing to fight back, if she's not willing to put effort in, and all she cares about is money? It's hard. But it's still sitting with me reading those words, all because I wanted my money and I was tired of her telling me that I was not budgeting my money right and I had to do it the way she wanted me to do it, and I could only spend my money on what she wanted me to spend, and she wouldn't give me what I needed to get my life better. And it really ended up screwing me in the end, where I still had nothing by the time this money was gone, other than being able to pay my car insurance and my phone bill, which, you know, fantastic, I needed that. But there was so much more I could have done to make my life better. But in the end, I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I always say that. However, I think that the mother-child relationship is hard to begin with, but everyone should respect each other no matter what that means. And there shouldn't be name calling. There's no need for it. You know, me simply having to message her 7 different times saying, please send me my money, I just want the rest of it, I don't want you to budget it anymore, like, I'm over it, I'm already upset about how you're making me budget this without me even consenting to it after I've left the place that, you know, would have made it hard, and having to deal with that confrontation, it didn't seem worth it. And it feels like, you know, not being able to have the ability to stand up and set those boundaries without being completely knocked back down is really hard. And, it sucks because she puts on such a front in front of the town that she's from. Like, I'm from, it's a large town, but it has not a lot of people that hurt Daisy. No. Sorry, my dog's trying to play with her toy on my arm. But she's from a town, Charlton, Massachusetts. That's where I am originally from. And the area is actually pretty large, but there's not a lot of people there. And she is now on the town committee or the town board, and she makes everyone think that she's this great person and she cares for the town and she cares about homeless people and feeding them. But before she knew that money was coming in for me with the stimulus check, she refused to help me get food. She refused to help me with $7 for water. I was always scared to ask her for help, even though she was telling everybody that she cares about homeless people and was starting food fundraisers in her town. And she'll have no problem telling people that, I've made my mistakes in life, which I have. But I have been nothing but respectful to her until I'm talking about the problems we've had. And I'm talking about the fact that you've slapped me in the face because my homework wasn't right. And you've thrown those thick plastic that breaks plastic glasses at my head. And you've whipped me up against stairs and thrown laundry baskets railing down the stairs telling me to come up. You've thrown all my clothes in the middle of my floor while I'm at school. I've dealt with being called all the words I can't say on YouTube. Just because you found out I lost my virginity when I was 17. I've been told how worthless I am, how ugly I am, how fat I am my whole life. I've been told that the bullying I went through in school must have been my fault. I must have been doing something wrong to make people not like me. I dealt with being told I was annoying as a kid because I didn't want her to go anywhere, because I was afraid of her ex abusing me and her kicking me off her leg and telling me I was annoying. I dealt with hearing all the stories from my aunt about me as a child being 6 years old, and she gives me a bath and found belt lashings on my back, and she told my mom about it. And my mom just says that she must have deserved it. And my aunt seeing her ex throw me out of her house, picking us up. And my mom having to come pick me up because my aunt refused to let me go with him. And again, she said I must have deserved it. And then when I finally told someone about what was going on with my mom's ex, and their parents called the police, and I talked to the police, and DCF got involved. I was only 9 years old, maybe even 8, and the DCF woman talked to my mom, and my mom began to tell them how I'm a chronic liar and how I'm not to be trusted, and I just want attention from people, and there's nothing going on, and I shouldn't be listened to. And the DCF woman had to tell me, unfortunately, there's not enough evidence for me to do anything. I had to deal with that. I had to deal with her to this day denying that she made her ex leave because he abused me. She made him leave because he looked at porn. I had to deal with a lot of this on a regular basis. Even as an adult, I'd go to visit and she would just scream at me in front of my little sister, and I'd have to laugh and say, okay, I'm not doing this, and walk away. As a kid, I'd write in my journal and say, once I leave, I'm never going to see you again. And unfortunately, my heart's too big for that, and I really cared and wanted to make sure she was okay. But I never got any of that support back. I had teachers in school stand up for me to her because they couldn't stand the way she talked to me. They could see the anxiety all over me when she was around because I was so scared of her. I was so scared to show her if I failed the test, if I didn't understand something. She would make me cry when I asked for help in my homework because I should just know it, even though I didn't. And it's hard because to me, mothers shouldn't be that way. And I might not have kids, but it's not okay to treat your children like that. And I hope one day that she's able to see what happened, what she's done wrong, and she gets herself out of the denial she's in, because I think it's going to make her feel better. But at this point, I'm trying to let go of what has gone on with me, with her, and let it be, because I have to be at peace with myself. But I felt like this was important to make, to show everybody that no matter what goes on in your life, no matter what family members are, no matter who they are in your life and how direct they are as blood related, you make your own family. Don't let blood be the tie between you and these people drag you down and treat you like you're nothing, because you're worth more than that. You are worth everything, and you need to remember that you are. Be who you are inside. Do not let anybody tell you that you're anything less than who you are. And if you have emotions, stand up for yourself with these people. Let them hear you. Let them know what they're doing wrong, and whether they admit it or not, it's important for you to get it off your chest, because you don't deserve to be thrown down to the ground in any manner, no matter if it's your mother, your father, your siblings, your grandparents, your aunts or uncles or cousins. Cut off the people that are negative to you if you need to, because it's only going to make you stronger. And the more you let them walk over those boundaries, the more they're going to take advantage of it, unfortunately. And it's sad to say, but people with good hearts often get trampled on because we care so much. So remember to keep your faith strong in yourself, in the Lord, in your life, and don't let anyone tell you you're doing the wrong thing. You make those choices for yourself. You live that life for you. You keep yourself happy no matter what that means, because you're all beautiful, you're all gracious, you're all full of love. No matter what anyone says, you are the perfect person for yourself. And don't let anyone tell you different. You guys all have a great night. Thanks for watching.